chasing the train, just trying to get home to you, my little dove. It's only a splinter, you'll not hear me complain.
Hey man, saw your reel, saw your site, looks dope dude, but I think we're gonna go with someone who has like a Sony camera or something.
The windowsill, fruit grows sweet on the vine. This old home is yours and mine, ours right down the line.
If only you knew how real that part about the Sony was. This brand new fresh year of filmmaking already looks promising with new technology, new ideas, you know the drill. But there is already one piece of lighting gear that has absolutely stolen my heart, the 26-degree angle Aputure Spotlight. My name is Davis Rohr. I'm a filmmaker, cinematographer here in the great city of Pittsburgh, and using the little micro short that started this video, I'm going to show you why the Aputure Spotlight is absolutely my favorite piece of lighting gear in my arsenal. The first sequence is me waking up in my bed. Now, I am somebody who adores natural light, and a lot of times I'm preferring natural light in order to shoot my scenes. But as I continue to grow, I continue to find new techniques to elevate and amplify this style of natural light that I use. More importantly, to get certain looks at certain times of day where I'm not so much of a victim to scheduling and worrying about where the sun is. And we wanted to make a sunrise and a setting sun look for waking up and going to bed. This is where I put the Aputure 300X with the spotlight in front of it, and it's pinging right through the window. And by the way, this spotlight is a Bowen style mount. So it'll go in front of most of your Aputure or Bowen style lights. However, if you're somebody who has the 1200D or anything of a higher output, you're not going to be able to use this piece of equipment, as there is the Spotlight Max for that. The spotlight was being fired straight through the window and onto the bed to create this very contrasty, bright, but interesting look for a wake-up shot. It was set to about 75%, 5600 Kelvin, so we got a more daylight balanced look that I could always just make a little bluer in the color grade to make it look more like morning. The same technique was used in this shot, but we dialed the light down to 35%. So you can see that something like a 300X, not a 600, not a 1200, is still giving a good amount of power. Next sequence is in my kitchen, and this is the more unique way that you can use the spotlight. And this really supports the idea that cinematographers are problem solvers. There isn't necessarily enough light coming in this sequence. It's very silhouetted, it's very moody and broody. Now for some projects, this look totally works, but if I want to boost that level and get some spackles of light in there, what I did is something that I've talked before in a video I've done, which is using the spotlight to create fake lighting fixtures essentially. I made it as slim as something like an LED tube, put it right above my fridge, and it gave me just enough fill and ambiance on my countertop on the coffee cup to lift the image a little more and let the color grade sing a little more. The same premise was used for the next shot, I just had to re-angle the spotlight a little. And it works, but in hindsight, this is the one shot in the micro short where I wish I took an extra minute or two just to flag off some light or adjust it so that it's not so sourcey or hot in the top right corner of this image. With that said, everything I shoot for my YouTube videos and my talking head portion, I'm shooting within 24 hours of the video going live, so oh well. On this channel, I've talked about the ways we can amplify natural light and use our artificial light to maintain the natural light look throughout the day so that at least our key source is something that we don't have to worry about. But if I just commit to using natural light as my key source and I know I can be in and out, I start to think, what are some techniques I can do to make a little more pop and create a more three-dimensional look? Because as cinematographers, we are always striving to make our 2D images feel more 3D, more alive, have layers, and just look more interesting. And I know this fixture can do that. So to add that three-dimensionality and that extra layer, I made a good sharp circular shape here, set it to more of a tungsten white balance, and fired it dead at my face for this first shot because I wanted to show how the spotlight can be extremely pinpoint. And I can aim it just right at my face so I can literally carve myself out in the image with light. We kept the same settings, the same power output of about 75%. For the rest of the living room sequence, we just moved the angle. That's it. So for the coffee cup, we made it hit the table more. And then for me, looking at the phone, it's the same deal. We just had it hit more of my torso to get a little more realism into the shot. As you can see here, when it's hitting my mouth and my chin, it doesn't look as controlled. But when I make a slight adjustment to the spotlight to where it's only hitting my torso, it just feels a lot more deliberate. Then we got this shot in my stairwell. Really for this shot, I just wanted to use gobos for the first time. I've never used them. And with the spotlight, it comes with a Venetian blind style gobo, which I don't think I see it too well in this shot because from the angle I'm at, it's hard to see. But it does continue to, sell the idea that I can set up the spotlight even inside the house, not outside the windows, and still paint this sharper look that would come from a window if broad daylight was the case. I know some of the looks in this short film feel harsh or maybe not as soft. But to be honest, there's a beauty in shooting with harsh light when that harsh light is completely within your control. If everything in cinematography was just extremely soft backlighting and just making sure there's a soft Rembrandt effect, then we'd all be Oscar-winning cinematographers. I think when you build a little more confidence in your ability to shoot with light that isn't necessarily, crazy soft, you'd be surprised at the definition, the texture, and contrast that you're able to create in your imagery. And that continues into why I shot on the broad side for the shot of me going to sleep. For one, I didn't want to repeat the same shot I already did, and I just liked the idea of seeing all of this orange spill in the entire shot to sell the passing of the day a little more. And when people look rough or they're trying to look tired, seeing everything on their face in a more broad light, I swear they look more tired. If I were to do more of a short side lighting setup here, then, it would look like everything else I've done. And it would look like I'm pondering cinematically into the void. But here, it looks like the sunset's coming through my window, and I'm tired. And it works. And then, of course, there's the match cut here that ends and also resets the whole micro short concept. Sorry, that was weird. And that's how sunsets and sunrises feel for me. They feel a little harsher because the sun's at an angle. It's not coming straight down. And if it's pinging straight through the window, it should create these shapes. It should create that contrast and that more wider ratio of light versus dark. And as always, I'm dialing in the final look of my film using Dehancer, and I'm using music from TrackClub, as per usual. By the way, if you want a sweet deal on Dehancer and TrackClub, check out the description. It's amazing what a single piece of lighting gear can do to just make yourself more of an artist in this world of cinematography. It helps me not just put someone next to a window or wait for a certain time of day to guarantee a certain look, or require me to have a massive crew to get a good looking image. Now granted, if I had a massive crew, I'm sure this would look sick. This would look fantastic. But as we continue to talk about guerrilla style filmmaking and solo filmmaking on this channel, I think it's very important that we continue to talk about the pieces of kit that elevate us, but also allow us to still work smaller crews, smaller budgets, and also, if need be, by ourselves. Or in this case, just to be able to practice our cinematography with some new gear that we're finally getting comfortable with. As this channel continues, I just want to say, I want the Six Shop to be a place where people who are in the middle can be a little more empowered. The guerrilla filmmakers, the solo filmmakers, or the ones that seem like they're just on the cusp of becoming that commercial DP or that big time director. A channel where we can help grow your confidence, give you little nuggets of knowledge, and try to create a community where people are learning from each other through the imperativeness of practice. And you are not going to know your favorite piece of lighting kit this year unless you use some and you try some stuff out. And more importantly, can we give my dog Rhea an Oscar for this? Oh my God, was she just the most cutest, goodest girl on the planet for the entirety of this shoot. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next one. This has been Davis with The Six Shop.